Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this week's Full Body Chills. If you're new here, what are you doing here? You can still click away. You don't have to sit here if you don't want to. If you don't know who I am, like, what are you doing in this channel? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You can stay. I suppose you can stay. Okay. So this week we do have 4 stories, and I am here with Halfling Richard, another creator, ENvtuber for now, but they are in the process of preparing their VTuber model, so that's gonna be exciting. Like, I'm excited to see it. They're gonna be here in a second. Okay, so today we have for you 4 stories. Oh, by the way, I'm Sona. Hi, I'm FEARSONA, if you don't know. Wow, this intro is so smooth. And I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills. So, I hope you are ready for some stories you should never share, and you should probably never listen to alone when you're alone in the house. So if you are alone, maybe call a friend, maybe don't be alone, maybe rethink watching this stream. Who knows? Wait, okay, I wanted to say hi and I wanted to wish you a good stream before I went to bed completely, so do your best, Sona. Thank you! Thank you, Lost Nemesis. I'm just waiting for Halfling to join me. They're just gonna let me know when they are ready. But yeah, like, in the meantime, I can just chat with you guys a little bit before we start. Hello, Detective. Hi, Karnabak. It's good to see you. Well, I mean, there's a lot of you guys, so I hope you guys will enjoy these this week's stories. There's gonna be like more than one full body chill stream. I will have one today. There's gonna be one on Patreon tomorrow, and there will be another one on Sunday, and that's gonna be another collab with yet another VTuber. So, you know, I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll here. I'm gonna, you know, I'm getting out of my shell here, and I'm collabing more. I promised myself I would do this, so why not? Okay. Maybe don't be alone is the story of my life. Forever and alone. I mean, I'm alone. So I don't know if that's... well, I mean, I'm not alone. I'm on the call with Halfling, but like... Yeah, I'm alone at home, so that's gonna be great. Maybe I shouldn't do this to myself every fucking time. Every week. Every moment of every day. Why do I like to make myself harder than it should be? Like, that's just the ongoing theme. Stay and learn who this VTuber is. Yes, indeed. Please stay and learn. I mean, obviously, if you're like, oh, this was preposterous. How am I being greeted on this channel? I am leaving. Fine. No, come on, stay. Okay, maybe full body streams. Many full body chill streams. I'm like, maybe full body streams, huh? Okay, wait. I'm alone in the middle of the night, so I'm good. Yep, that's the best set. Honestly, that's the best setting for those streams. So, I mean, watching at your own risk. I'm just saying. Oh, don't worry, Sona. We will behave. Please do. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Please check out the chat rules and follow them to a T. Otherwise, banishment forever. Maybe not forever, but, you know, banishment overall. Okay. What else? This is great. This is starting just perfectly. Why do I make myself harder than I should? No, like, not myself, my life. Why do I make my life harder than it should be? I mean, that's the, you know, the ongoing theme of every single stream that I do. And my life too, because I just know no limit. What else? Alone with a ghost watching the stream. Well, I mean, I hope the ghost also enjoys the stream. So Jane Doe, nice. Okay, wait, okay. Yep. Let me just let them know that they can jump in and say hi. Okay, you can, hi Halfling, you can say hi to the chat. Whoa!
Hello!
Hello!
I'm free from the land of mutedness.
Hello!
Hello.
What?
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for for coming, for joining me today in my stream and in this stream, in the scary story stream. We have like I was just talking to the chat. I just told them that okay, we have 4 stories, and they should probably not watch them alone. If they are alone at home, then watching at your own risk.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're gonna be weeing your britches if you do that.
Yep, absolutely.
100%.
Like we have some pretty spooky creepypastas, and I've got some stories from Reddit No Sleep. So those are also pretty freaky and scary. So
Do you check that subreddit right before you're about to go to sleep? Because I feel like it's the only time I would.
yeah, you should. I mean, like I do this to I was just saying, like, I do this to myself every fucking time, and it's like, this is the story of my life. I just make it harder than it should be, and yeah. And then I get scared, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm totally not scared. This is fine.
You're like a use case. You tested it out before them. It's like, if it doesn't keep me up all night to where I lack sleep, then I'm not giving it to my audience.
Absolutely. Well, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Sometimes I just choose the stories based on a creepy title, and I don't read them until the stream. And then during the stream, I'm like, well, this was a mistake, because now it's like, now I'm kind of freaked out. I can't sleep at night. Yeah. Yeah, story of my life.
See, I make sure to turn on tons of lighting, almost like I were in like a lighted studio, even though there's no reason for it at all. But this way, I will never be scared, you know?
I mean, probably smart. I mean, yeah, totally. Like, I have every possible light in my in my office like turned on, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I'm listening. I'm kind of like trying to listen for any alien sounds or sounds in my apartment that shouldn't happen because I'm alone.
Is it aliens that scare you? Is that like the like hierarchy of like scariest thing is aliens? Because I don't think aliens are the scariest thing for me.
What? No, like I think so, because like I don't really believe in ghosts. Like I'm kind of a skeptic. It's not like I completely don't believe in them. I do kind of take into consideration the possibility. But it's like, if you think about it, aliens definitely exist. Like, life definitely exists somewhere. We're definitely not alone. So it's more possible, to me, it's more possible that, aliens gonna fucking invade the Earth and we're doomed. Inevitable death.
See, the way I view the whole alien thing is I'm probably not important enough to be stolen. So I really don't have to worry, right? Like, there's a hierarchy of people who are getting stolen before me.
That's true. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I wouldn't be the first choice to be stolen.
Like I'm definitely on like there's like 7 billion people on this planet. I'm definitely in like probably the bottom, like, I don't know, billion, I would assume, or maybe 2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of room there.
That's true. Like, I mean, there's a lower chance that we're gonna get abducted by,
See, what scares me is like nature type things, because those also could be real, right? So like any sort of like spidery, like really it's spidery, like hairy type thing. I feel like those things could also exist, and we just haven't explored certain areas, and that
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, 100%. Like, come on, like all those stories about Bigfoot or skinwalkers or I don't know, Wendigo, like they come from something. Like they had to be inspired by some creature that exists. It doesn't have to be like specifically that the same creature. It's just like, oh, it was an inspiration from something. So that's scary.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me just let me just let the chat know that the link to Halfling's channel is in the description below this video, so you guys please do check it out. When you can.
Same thing with FEARSONA. I don't know which one I prefer yet.
Oh, whichever. It's up to you. Fear or Sona, whichever.
I know. No, I'm feeling it out still.
Okay.
I haven't decided yet.
I think I prefer Halfling, like for some reason. Like
That's
it's
fine.
just yeah.
I mean, I'm 106 centimeters tall, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So. Who should start? Who do you think should start? Do you want to start? Do you want to do the honors?
Start if you want.
Please.
Like,
Please, you're the guest.
I would be so honored to. That is lovely.
Yeah, okay.
I will probably start off with room sitting.
Okay, awesome.
just because it is like I remember going through trying to find scary things, and I've read it a couple times, and every time I'm like, this is still freaky. So
Okay, well, do the
yeah,
honors. The stage is
thank you.
yours.
Okay. I was referred by a temp agency. I had no idea who I'd be working for or what the job would entail. I only knew that the pay was good. A week-long excursion for $725 a night, more than enough to pay off a couple of credit card bills and a good chunk of next month's rent. For that price, I would have done almost anything. I only wish I knew at the time what I was getting myself into. When I arrived at the address, I was surprised. It was a large facility at the end of a dirt road in the woods, 2 towns over. The large sign outside read Synthi Corp. It was a plain, white, 3-story building void of identifying markings. Its appearance gave me no clues to its purpose. Its location was even more baffling. Going off on the name alone, I had to assume it was some sort of biotech company. I was probably needed to clean up radioactive waste or something to that end. For what they were paying me, I would happily risk my health. Upon entering the building and meeting with the receptionist, I was directed to room 371 on the second floor, where I would wait for Al, my new boss. It was your standard office setting, albeit more quaint than usual: red carpet, white walls, and no windows. Only 6 desks in 3 rows of 2, each with their own computer. At the end of the room was a large wall covered by a one-way mirror, an opening with steps on either sides of it. Inside was a single chair, desk, and landline phone. Probably a place for supervisors or oversee productivity. Other than that, the room harbored no points of interest unless you fancied the waste bin and fern in the corner. An older gentleman opened the door to the room and came over to shake my hand, introducing himself as Al. He seemed to be in a rush, wasting no time in describing the task at hand. I was to stay in that very room from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. the following day, every night for a week. He left me a cell number and a laminated list of rules to be followed. He told me he could not overstate enough the importance of following each and every one, exactly as they were outlined. Once he was sure I understood the gravity of the situation, he left me to the first shift in peace, closing the door behind him. That was it, really. Just stay in the room for 10 hours a night. I had no clue as to why I was being paid over $5,000 to room sit, but I learned some time ago to never look a gift horse in the mouth. I simply sat down in the overseer's room with a smile on my face and went over the list of rules. There were 10 in total, all of which left me more than a little confused. Rule number 1. Once 8 rolls around, lock the door, and do not leave the room for any reason until 6. Plan your bathroom usage and meal periods accordingly. No food or drink items within the room. Number 2. Do not use Hank's computer. It is the closest to the exit. No one is to ever touch it under any circumstances, not even Hank. Number 3. If the phone rings, answer it, but do not talk. No matter what the voice on the other end says, you are not to respond. Hang up after 2 minutes have passed. Number 4. Do not let the janitor in. We do not have one. Number 5. If anyone else comes to the door, let them in, but ignore them. Do not react whatsoever. When they leave, shut the door and lock it behind them. Number 6. If the waste bin changes locations, place it back in the corner as soon as you notice. Number 7. If I stop by, only let me in if I know the password. Number 8. At 9:30 precisely, set each of the computer's home screens to different URLs, except Hank's. Do not react to the images, act normal. If you see, number 9, if you see Harvey, feed him one of the treats from Lisa's desk, the one opposite of Hank's. And finally, number 10, if there's an emergency, call my cell, but not after 10:05 p.m. Below, the last rule was a final sentiment scribbled over the laminate in pen. No one has ever made it past night 3. Good luck. I was perplexed, wondering for a moment if Al was a lunatic, and if that was the reason no one else had lasted. Perhaps his quirks were too much for the previous candidates and they backed out, fearing for their safety at the hands of his fragile mind. I would not be swayed so easily. Even if Al was crazy, I would happily take his money for what was shaping up to be a very simple job. At least, that's what I thought. Day 1 was utterly boring. Nothing remarkable happened. Definitely not anything to the extent of what Al's list would have me expect. At 9:30, I even changed the URLs on the computers, if for no other reason than to feel somewhat useful. The next night, however, was a little different. Day 2 started as it normally did. I settled in for a long night, making sure to eat and empty my bladder before locking myself in. At 9:25, just as I was about to ready myself to change the home screens again, I saw it. The waste bin was right there at the top of the steps to the overseer's room. I certainly hadn't placed it there. I felt a small spike in my adrenaline before calming down with a smile. The waste bin list. It was all a joke at my expense. I would be in the next room, waiting anxiously to see the look on my face. I raced out to the office floor. There was no one there. I walked over to the exit and shook the knob. It was still locked. Confused and a tinge scared, I swiftly picked up the waste bin and walked it back over to the corner of the room. I checked the time, 9:30. I started changing the URLs on the computers, hoping desperately that I had imagined what had just occurred. After skipping Hank's test, I typed in the last website on PC number 6. I was about to pull away when some strange imagery manifested on the screen. It was surveillance footage of the room, the very room I was in. I saw me looking at the computer. I turned and looked up, but there was no camera. Upon looking back at the screen, I saw something terrifying. I watched as a copy of me stepped out from the overseer's room. It walked up behind me, grabbed the hard drive from on the desk, and wound up to strike me in the back of the head. I quickly turned to shield myself. There was no one there. I turned back and the screen had changed, displaying the website I had entered as normal. I raced back to the overseer's room and sat down, more than a bit frazzled. I contemplated walking out, but I steeled myself to continue. I was fine after all. Maybe Al wasn't a lunatic, but he didn't seem the type to wish me any harm. Not that I knew him all that well. Still, I hadn't sustained any damage. I was questioning my sanity, yes, but no bodily injuries had befallen me. Whatever was at play here seemed harmless so far. Knock, knock. There was a loud banging. Having just had the most horrifying experience of my life, I nearly jumped out of my skin. A voice then penetrated the door. "It's the janitor, just here to clean up. Can you open the door?" I recalled rule number 4 and denied him entry. "You did good not letting him in. You followed the rule. Now you're fine. So long as you follow the rules, you'll be safe. It's as simple as that. You can see through this." Knock, knock. I jumped again. "I really need to get in there and clean up. Open the door." I took a deep breath and peeled back my anxiety, successfully ignoring the janitor until he left. That was an accomplishment for me, and it actually felt pretty good. A challenge that I was able to best. Though I remained on the edge of my seat, the next few hours were uneventful. I even dozed off for a moment at one point. It wasn't until 2:30 a.m. that my next challenge would come. A multicolored cat jumped up on the desk in front of me, complete with beautiful splotches of black and orange. I was startled, but it seemed to be friendly, brushing up against my arm. The name on its collar, Harvey. I knew what I had to do. I rummaged through Lisa's desk, found a jar of treats, and fed Harvey one, to which he purred in delight. To my astonishment, he then charged the door, phasing right through it. My mouth was agape in awe. Once my initial bewilderment dissipated, it was replaced with satisfaction over another small victory. As strange as it may sound, I was beginning to like the job.
What?
Ring ring.
Sorry. Sorry, but I was just like, what? Who would in their right mind? I'm out of there.
Right? I know.
Also, rule number 1, follow the rules. And rule number 2, just
follow the rules.
yeah, like seriously, holy shit! I'm like, I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? Also, the janitor, like, yeah, I know, I see right through you.
I know, right? Like you know.
Wasn't he supposed to not react to the images on the screens?
I know, right?
It's like, rule breach. Instantly broken rule. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're
okay.
good.
Okay, go on.
Okay. Ring ring. It was a landline. Remembering the rules, I removed it from the receiver and held it to my ear, making sure to keep an eye on the time. Hey, it's Al. I'm going to be stopping by pretty soon to do a little work. How's the job treating you so far? I remained silent. Hello? You know you can talk if it's me, right? I picked up the set of rules and looked them over again. There was nothing about Al calling. I didn't respond. This is no way to treat your employer. If you don't say anything, I'll have no choice but to fire you. Do you really want that? I stood my ground. Only 20 seconds to go. Fine. I'll see you soon to relieve you of your duty. I guess you couldn't even make it past night 2. 2-minute mark came and I hung up on him. I felt safe as another hour went by, reflecting on the trials I had faced thus far. I was bewildered, but determined. I wasn't going to let the room cloud my judgment. I was in control. Knock, knock. It's Lisa. Can I come in? Oh, hesitant, I had to abide by Rule 5. I opened the door and a woman entered. You must be the new guy. What do you think of the place? I went back to my desk in the overseer's room and sat down, trying my best to act casual. Lisa walked up to the glass knowing I could see through it. Not very talkative, are you? Her eyes unnaturally darted around in all directions and her skin drooped a bit. Almost as if it was falling off the bone. I didn't answer. She didn't speak again. Instead, she stared at the glass for a long time, long enough to leave me feeling truly unsettled. She then waltzed in and stopped at my side, raising her arm. I hoped she wouldn't notice that my breathing had become sporadic and labored. She then violently swung down at the desk, creating a thunderous clap. I almost winced, but held my composure. After another awkward 5 minutes or so, she left. I ran to the door and locked it behind her. A few moments later, there was yet another knock. This time, it was a boy, claiming to be searching for his father. I let him in and sat back down. He tried many times to ask for my help, but I was careful to ignore him just as I had with Lisa. At one point, however, I made the mistake of meeting his gaze. For an instant, in between blinks, his eyes became pitch black, void of all color. Startled, I nearly jolted back, but was able to restrain myself. Like Lisa before him, the boy eventually left. I quickly locked the door behind him. Another rule followed. Other than the waistband moving around a few more times, nothing else happened that night. Before I knew it, it was time to go home. I heavily considered calling it quits. I may have even had a nightmare or two upon sleeping that day, but I found myself excited to continue, wondering what obstacles the room would throw at me next. Curiosity shouldn't have been enough to bring me back, but all rational trains of thought escaped me. The room had this pull that beckoned me to it. I was helplessly compelled to return, powerless to its call. Any excuse would have sufficed. As such, I resumed my post the following night. Upon starting my shift, I was confident. I dealt with quite a few absurdities up to this point and waited patiently for my next opportunity. A couple hours went by with no trouble. No cat, no images on the computer, no phone calls, and no waste bin antics. Boredom was beginning to set in when a loud knocking broke the silence. Knock, knock. There was no voice. I yelled out to the overseer's room. Who is it? I asked. There was a brief pause. It's me, Al. I picked up the list and reread rule number 7. What's the password? I heard him chuckle to himself. I never wrote down a password. He was right. There was no password written with the rule. It must have been him. I cautiously made my way to the door and opened it. I was there. Al was there to greet me with a smile. I sighed in relief. Let me guess, scared of the things that go bump in the night? I laughed at my clear, nervous disposition. You have no idea. He shut the door and set up some things at one of the computers. Say, why didn't you write down a password? I asked. He smiled again. It's a ploy. Anyone posing as me might try to come up with one, which would identify them as not being me. Understood? I see. Good thinking. He returned to his work at the computer. I didn't want to bother him, but I just had to know. What is this place, anyways? Why do these things happen here? He turned to face me. It's best if you don't ask questions, especially ones that are far above your pay grade. I wasn't happy with the answer, but I knew it was all I would get out of him. I let him work in peace and sat back down in the overseer's room, watching through the one-way glass. That's when I realized something. The computer Al was working on, it was Hank's. I double-checked the list to make sure, yes, that is definitely Hank's desk, and no one was to touch his computer. Didn't that apply to Al as well? I turned over the list on the off chance I might find some more information. That's when my heart sank. In large, bold print on the back of the laminated sheet was text that read, password, Diner.
What?
Oh. I grabbed my phone.
Oh my god! I'm sorry.
Oh god, you just scared me! Ah.
I'm sorry. But like, how do you... I'm sorry, I'm just like, how do you not see that there's a huge font on the back saying password diner? What the fuck?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have looked on the back, probably.
Okay. I mean, I would. Like, if I don't know. Like, isn't it noticeable? I don't know. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay.
I know. I mean, I know.
Also, wasn't like one of the, yeah, seriously, like one of the important rules that Hank's computer was like not to be touched. So wasn't that also included, like Al included?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, you were checking, you were so meticulous in checking those rules. How the fuck did you like forget about this? Okay.
I don't know if you know this, but 10 is a lot of rules, right? Like really, after like 3, I start to lose count.
I suppose so, but I would like, if this happened the first night, I would be like, okay, I need to learn this by heart. Like, there has to be like no mistake.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but you're overconfident. You're going in there, you think you can handle the room.
Yeah,
that's when the room gets you.
Man, he fucked up. Okay. Alright, go on.
Fuck. I grabbed my phone, reached for the scrap of paper with Al's number on it, and dialed it as fast as I could. There was a few tones, but he finally picked up. Hello? Is everything all right there? Al, thank goodness. I made a mistake. I thought it was you. I let him in, and now he's on Hank's computer. He let out a long sigh of disappointment. I watched as Al's copy turned from his computer and then stood up. Listen very carefully. Do not act suspicious in any way. You should be fine if he doesn't suspect anything. If you try to leave or call anyone else, it'll be over. Understood? Yes, I understand. Al's copy began walking over to the overseer's room. My heart was beating faster than it ever had before. I'll be there soon, just don't panic. He hung up. I kept the phone to my ear as Al's copy approached, so as to pretend I was talking with my wife. I told you, hun, 6 o'clock, that's when I clock out. You don't have to wait up for me. You worry too much. Please, get some rest. Al's copy was in the room with me now, staring. I held the phone to my chest and looked back at him. Everything okay, I asked. He continued to stare at me for a few long seconds. Can you help me with something on the computer? I wonder if you could see my chest pounding. Sure, I just need to finish up this phone call, then I'll be there as soon as I can. He stared another moment and then walked back to Hank's desk. Though panicked, I kept up appearances by continuing to pretend I was on the phone. I even acted out an argument to lengthen the call. While doing this, I watched with bated breath as the knob gently turned and the door swung open. It was Al. I'd never been so relieved in my life. He turned to the glass and put a finger to his mouth, gesturing for me to keep quiet. The clown was not yet privy to his arrival. Al snuck up behind his clone and grabbed him by the throat. The imposter struggled, but eventually succumbed to his vicious grip. He fell to the floor, a lifeless whole, before disintegrating into the carpet. I ran to Al and thanked him. I also apologized profusely. No need to be sorry. This isn't the first thing to make it into the room, and I'm sure it won't be the last either. I'm just glad you're okay. He smiled. Speaking of which, mind shutting the door? Wouldn't want another one of me stopping by? Of course.
No, this is
I walked up to the
deception.
door and then realized something.
Deception!
I had left it unlocked after the copy came in. That's how Al was able to enter. I remember the final rule. I slowly pulled out my phone and opened the call log. My most recent call connected at 10:18 p.m. 13 minutes past the deadline. I turned around to see Al standing right behind me. Al, what's the password? He grinned. What password? I ran out of there as fast as I could. The room still has a strange hold over me, but I will never go back. At least, I hope I won't.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Wait, so both of them were clones? Like it was, none of them were real?
Yeah, he got double baited.
Jesus. Also, my chat was like going crazy. They were like, "It's Five Nights at Freddy's. That's it. That's the job he got." Oh my god, that was terrible. Wait, okay, so yeah, like, okay. So if there's an emergency, call my cell, but not after 10:05 p.m. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he fucked up all the rules.
Yeah, most of them. But I love how there's this unspoken hero of this whole story, which is the garbage bin. And it just like, it's just there, changing positions, trying to like, be like, hey, notice me. Just notice me.
Yeah, just notice me.
Come on, I just need attention. I want to get out of here too. Can you just... I know, this is the unspoken hero of the story.
Cool too.
Yeah,
like the
cat in the bin. It's like, yeah, Loki, the bin be like, hello? Oh my god.
Please notice me.
Please notice me. Please get me out of here. I don't want to be here.
Take me with you, please.
That was such a good story. Holy shit. It was pretty trippy. Wow. It was good. It was good. Damn. Okay, so now I'm gonna read my story. I guess I'm gonna go with the first one, which is I found a workout app with a terrifying feature. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see what is that gonna be about. Okay. Recently, I decided that it was time to make a change in my life. I've never really been considered fat by my friends or family. They've always assured me that I look just fine, especially for someone of my height. But while the encouragement was nice, it was no secret that I was overweight. And after spending years with limited activity and staring at my belly hanging over my pant line, I finally figured that it was time to do something about it. So I looked around in hopes of joining a gym. However, given how the world of 2020 and forward has been, I haven't exactly felt overly comfortable with physically going into a building full of sweat and heavy breathing, even with a mask. Instead, I was lucky enough to find an online gym service app by the name of Penpal Poundbuster. which seemed to be exactly what I was looking for. Basically, it was a service that linked you with a random gym buddy, and the two of you would function as a personal trainer to the other. For the sake of anonymity, no information other than first names were ever shared, and no one ever had to meet face to face. It was pretty neat. The app even had a, quote, build a routine feature where you could pick from a long list of workouts to send your pen pal for each day that you planned to work out. Coupled with the ability to track each other's progress, including heart rate, duration, and weigh-ins. And there was also a built-in chat where you could send your pen pal words of encouragement and such. It's like, don't fucking give up! It's like, don't you dare stop! No, that's not part of the story, that's just me. I couldn't have been happier with everything it had to offer. Thanks to the mostly anonymous nature of the setup, there was no shame or fear of being judged by a personal trainer or anything. It was just two people striving to achieve the same goal and helping one another to get there. Plus, I am a pretty solitary guy, and I really enjoyed working out alone, so it all suited me just fine. After the sign-up process, it was a few short days of waiting before I paired with my weight loss pen pal, Hector. Before we got started on actual workouts, the two of us used the chat feature so we could just establish our goals and what we were generally the most comfortable with. I was pleasantly surprised to find that we were more or less looking for the same thing out of this process. Hector and I weren't trying to get buff or anything like that. We wanted to get comfortably fit, to have more energy in general, trim down our waistline, and maybe gain a small amount of muscle. Having a similar mindset made setting workouts a breeze for both of us, and in a matter of a week, we were on a solid weight loss track. At first, it was hard. Getting accustomed to physical activity after being a couch potato my whole life, this is my life story, left me soaking with couch potato. I mean, that's the story of my life. Getting accustomed to physical activity after being a couch potato my whole life left me soaking wet with sweat and huffing after virtually every assigned run, squat, or push-up. And to the credit of the app, it worked better than I ever could have hoped. Hector had me on a great routine, and his words of affirmation made me feel supported and confident in the effort I was putting in. Likewise, I had a surprisingly fun time planning workouts and checking in on Hector, urging him forward as I watched his heart rate rise and fall, depending on the intensity of the workout. When we reached our first weight check-in after a month, we were both impressed and proud. I had lost a total of 5 pounds, and Hector managed to burn off 8. Holy shit, dude. Great job. You're making good progress. I messaged him. You too. If we keep this up, we'll be complete hunks by summer, lol. Hector replied. I chuckled aloud. Hot boy summer, here we come, lol. I answered. After making this kind of progress, we began picking up the pace and intensity of our workouts. With the added motivation pressing us forward, we were able to move into the next stage of our weight loss with excitement and fervor. And within another few weeks, we had both passed the 15-pound down mark. This milestone earned us a notification from the pen pal Poundbuster app. Congratulations, the message read. By reaching your first milestone, you've unlocked the bonus Theme Challenge workouts. Complete challenges to burn more calories than ever and reach your next milestone in no time. I read through the list of challenges and found myself laughing at these themes. Some were humorous, like Follow the Yellow Brick Road challenge, where you had to run a mile while skipping the entire time. while others held more of a spooky tone, such as "The sky is falling," where you had to run and dodge falling debris to encourage a more intense serpentine sprint. Hector and I continued chatting as we went through the list, joking around about them before he finally asked, "So, you want to try a challenge for your workout today?" "Sure, why not? Go ahead and pick one out. Surprise me. I'm game," I messaged. While I waited for him to pick, I took some time to get ready by changing into my workout clothes and doing a few stretches. A few minutes later, my phone went off and my challenge appeared on the screen. "Hector has given you the Beat the Clock challenge. Look out. Your phone is a bomb. Finish your mile run before the clock runs out. Boom. Do you accept?" I smirked at the description and stepped out onto the sidewalk before hitting yes. In an instant, a countdown clock set to 7 minutes began to count down, and I took off running. With each second that passed, my phone gave off an ominous beep, as if it was a ticking time bomb. The sound made me feel uneasy and nervous all of a sudden. I knew it was all part of the theming, but I was genuinely impressed at just how much that little beep made my heart race, and I found myself running faster than ever. About 3 minutes in, I could feel my lungs start burning, and I was huffing and wheezing hard. I almost felt like slowing down when I noticed something. From my pocket, I could feel my phone heating up. With each minute and every beep, the temperature was growing higher and higher. I stared down at the ticking clock on my smartwatch, and a sense of fear started to creep into my mind. I hit 5 minutes, and my phone grew hotter still. The incessant beeping growing louder, thundering in my head and making my chest tighten. My phone wasn't going to actually blow up, right? Of course not. That was ridiculous. This had to be some kind of extreme measure to make the workout immersive. And yet, as the clock hit the final 60-second countdown, and my phone got so hot that it started burning at my leg, I wasn't so sure. I ran faster and faster, sprinting down the road, ignoring lights and stop signs, blocking out the horns of angry drivers as they almost hit me. None of that mattered to me right now. I had to finish this mile. 20 seconds. My stomach roiled with overexertion. My head throbbed, but I pressed on faster yet. 10 seconds. My legs burned and buckled as if they might give out on me at any moment. I couldn't stop. I couldn't slow. My phone was so hot. The beeping echoed in my skull. Drop the phone! I'm sorry, but like, throw this phone, Jesus Christ!
He has like a Samsung phone from like 4 years ago when they were like exploding.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this is Samsung Galaxy whatever, S2, drop it! Just drop it!
Christ.
Throw it into the oblivion, the darkness, I don't know.
Like, I'm just gonna run faster with the phone like in my leg.
I'm just like, the moment my phone starts heating up like this, I'm just dropping it and getting away, like out of the, of the I don't know, the area of impact. It's just like...
I feel like I can relate to this though as a fat person. I'm all about efficiency. There's no way I'd be running that far. I just throw the phone. It's like just the easiest path of resistance.
Just drop it. Like also for your own sanity and safety. You're just like, okay, I'm just gonna drop this phone. Also, when I read that, my phone was getting hotter and hotter, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like my phone when I ran like a bazillion apps and I just forget to close them.
Your
I'm
phone
just like,
at
wow.
the YouTube studio.
Seriously, I'm just like, wow, this phone is like it's getting so hot. I wonder if it's gonna explode. Okay, then. Where was I? Okay, so the beeping echoed in my skull. And then everything fell silent. I pulled out my phone and stared down at the screen. It had frozen with 3 seconds left. I nearly jumped when another beep went off. Congratulations. Challenge complete. Great workout. Fuck you. Oh my god. Okay. As I read these words, I halted my run to a stop, falling into the grass by the sidewalk with all the momentum I had built up. And I fought the urge to throw up from all the effort I had exerted. While I sat there, my phone almost immediately cooled down, and within a minute, it was totally back to normal. Even as I was still catching my breath, I found myself laughing at myself. I had really let the whole ticking time bomb thing get in my head. I had been so skeptical about the whole theme challenge thing, but the immersion really worked. I had never run so fast in my life. Hell, I'd never finished a mile in under 9 minutes before. After my breath fully returned, I went back to the app to message Hector. Wow, these challenges aren't messing around. They really push you to the limit with the whole theme and immersion stuff. I had a great workout, I told him, while sweating profusely out of fear. Oh my lord. I was watching your heart rate during that. You were booking it, man. Well done, he replied. Well then, I guess that makes it my turn. Find me a good one. I scrolled through the list of challenges as I slowly got to my feet and began walking back the way I had run to go back to my apartment. After a couple of minutes, I spotted a promising one. The Big Bad Wolf challenge. The wolf is coming to eat you. Outrun him for 6 minutes in order to reach safety. I chuckled at the name as I sent it over to Hector. All right, Little Red.
Goodbye, Hector.
Goodbye, Hector. Oh my god. Yeah, farewell. This is, yeah, the wolf is gonna totally, like, just eat you. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Oh my god. That's such a dick move, I have to say. Like, if the first challenge was kind of weird and you felt like, holy shit, my phone is really, like, burning up, I would think twice about this app, and I'll be like, no.
Oh, yeah. I would go into denial and be like, oh, you know what I want to do? Screw you, Hector. Time to get eaten by wolves.
Yeah, that's it. He's just like, release the wolves. Okay. All right, Little Red. Run away from that wolf, LOL, I typed. Oh boy, here we go, I guess, he replied. Good luck. You're gonna crush it, I encouraged him. As I continued my slow walk home, I watched as his heart rate began to pick up quickly. 2 minutes in, it was faster than I'd ever seen it. I shook my head. This must have been what it felt like for Hector when he saw me sprinting like an idiot in the middle of the day. I watched as his heart rate continued to grow. I came to a stop at the crosswalk by my place when a message popped up in the Pen Pal app. There's something chasing me, Hector had sent. I looked at his heart rate. It was crossing 175. It's all just part of the immersion. My mind was playing tricks on me too. It just helps you push through. Don't worry. Ease up if you have to. There's no pressure, I sent back. The crosswalk lights turned on and I made my way across the road, turning the corner down the street. My phone went off again. No, it's not a trick, he texted. There's something chasing me. I frowned down at my screen. Are you sure? Can you see what it is? I asked. I stopped walking, waiting for his reply. He was now 4 minutes into his run, and I was starting to get worried. My phone went off again. It's a fucking wolf, Hector messaged. I laughed and shook my head at him, continuing to walk. Haha, very funny. It's not a fucking joke, he typed. I checked his heart rate. 200. Another message came in. It bit my arm, dude. I'm bleeding. Oh shit, I'm freaking out, man. At those words, a chill went down my spine. All at once, my brain went into emergency panic mode. What was I supposed to do? He was just a pen pal. I had no idea where he was or even his last name. He could have been 3 towns over for all I knew. My hands shook as I typed to him again. Where are you? I can call for help, I offered. It's getting closer. I'm screwed. I looked down at the workout clock. He had passed the 5-minute mark. Hector, where are you? I messaged. No reply. You've made it 5 minutes, just 1 minute to go. Can you push a little more? Nothing. Hector, please respond. I checked his heart rate again. It had hit 225. Hector finally sent a message that was pure gibberish, just a streak of letters. My skin grew warm and my head spun. I looked to his heart rate. It went up and up, hitting close to 250 BPM. And then, nothing. It dropped from 250 to 50, then to 0, in the space of 30 seconds. I stared at the 0 with held breath, completely dumbfounded and horrified. I hadn't just seen that. My eyes were playing tricks. This was some kind of sick joke. It had to be. Hector? I texted. I stared at the final message Hector had sent me and waited. I was still glued to my spot on the sidewalk by my apartment. But I couldn't move an inch. All I could do was sit there and wait for a reply that I slowly realized was never going to come. I crumpled to the floor, breathing heavily. And then a thought occurred to me. Hector had been chased by a big, bad wolf. So, did that mean that if I hadn't finished my mile in time, that I didn't have time to finish the thought because all of a sudden, a noise came from behind me. I spun around to see a bush as it shifted. Twigs snapped. The sound of a low growl came from beyond what I could see. I nearly screamed when my phone went off. I lifted it to my field of vision with a shaking hand, without taking my eyes fully off the bush. As I read the words on the screen, my stomach dropped to the floor and my blood ran cold. Surprise bonus challenge, it read. Looks like Hector was eaten by the big bad wolf. But you still have a chance. Bonus challenge. Hide and seek. Every 5 minutes, you must find a place to run and hide. Don't let the wolf find you, or you will be his next meal. Your 30-minute workout challenge starts now. Okay, that's the end. Oh my god.
Oh my god, no! What more?
Hector! Oh my god, that was fucking terrible. Oh my god, terrible. Dude, after the first one, I'm like, nope, I'm okay. I'm out. It's okay. I'm just gonna go back to being a couch potato. That's it.
I like how they give him the big bad wolf, but they don't give Hector the bomb. You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just like, you know.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, like the bomb. Okay, the bomb was kind of scary, but it's like, okay, there's a simple solution. Just throw the phone, and just don't. No. Yeah, just throw it. But like big bad wolf, like how do you survive that? Oh my god!
Yeah,
unless you climb on a tree.
You run quickly.
I mean, yeah. One option, you run quickly. Option 2, I don't know, you shoot it if you have a gun on you. And option 3, you climb the tree. Not necessarily in this order.
I think wolves actually can climb trees.
Shit.
A little bit more than people think.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they can.
Well, yep, okay. Never mind.
I'm going to the house.
Yeah, go into a house or something. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, that was stressful.
F in the chat.
It's moral of the story. Kids, just sit your ass down, eat those chips.
Yeah. No.
Keep calm and eat that cake. Just that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Dick to your friend Hector. Like
be active.
Yeah.
Okay, be active. Just don't install like weird creepy apps and like don't. I guess there are those apps where it's like, oh, you can listen to an audio that just has like, oh, dogs chasing you or wolves or something. So it's like, or
Is
zombies.
It actually a thing?
Yeah, it's actually a thing. Like you can actually listen to like, oh, zombies chasing you, and you run.
I'm pretty good with never doing that.
I'm not going. Hell no, I'm not never going to do that.
Yeah, 100%. I need to take a 5-minute break real quick, and then I will be lovely to happily read my next story. Then.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So, oh my lord. So that was very interesting. That was a creepy story. And this story was actually wait, let me actually show you the first story. So the first story was by an anonymous, and this was a creepypasta called, oh no. Wait, was that, oh no. It was a creepypasta by anonymous, and it was not the hacking group, just an anonymous poster. And it was titled The Room Sitting. So that was the first story. The second story was actually, I found a workout app with a terrifying feature, and it was posted to subreddit No Sleep by K Forbes 1996. So yeah, that was a that was a creepy one. Puppy, what the fuck? I want this app now. Be a true friend. That's the moral of the story. Yeah, that's true. Also, the moral of the first story was, just save the garbage bin with you. Like, take the bin with you. It just wants to be noticed. That's the unspoken hero of the story. But those are the two stories, the first two stories that we read, and then there's gonna be 2 more stories. So you guys sit tight. Let me just take a sip of my water. And hi DJ, hi, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, sorry for not talking like during the story when Halfling is reading. I'm just kind of trying to just focus on the story. So obviously I'm gonna read the chat, I'm gonna comment a little bit more, and interact with you guys like a little bit more between the stories and with Halfling obviously. You can wait. You can be my workout partner, Silver. Oh my god. Honestly, when in this story there was this one, wasn't it like one of the themed option was like the sky is falling, and you have to like zigzag the shit through that workout and just be like zigzag Lightning McQueen basically, just like. And hi Ian. Hello Sana, how are you doing by the way? I'm a little disturbed. Hi. Hi back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I am.
I was just.
Thank you.
I was just talking to the chat. I was like, about the, my story. It was like one of the themed challenge was the sky is falling. I'm like, this is fucking terrifying.
Oh god, yeah.
Right? You have to like zigzag.
I would never want to be a workout partner. I'm just letting you know that is never gonna happen. There's a limit to what I will do. I like my IKEA sofa. It's okay. Yeah,
no, I'm kidding. Like I do work out. I do try to work out every day or every other day, but it's like I just watch some YouTube videos, or like I don't install creepy apps. I've never tried the weird kind of, listen to this audio of zombies chasing you and just, run. I've never done that, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it depends on what the zombie is, right? Like, it depends on like the brand of zombie. Because are they slow-moving zombies? Are they quick-moving zombies?
Oh no, these are the fit zombies. So they,
the fit ones.
They're
I
like
think any
Usain Bolt zombies.
Helping, I'm probably just dead then. Like,
yeah,
I just accept my fate. I'm gonna get that last slice of pizza in, right, as I'm listening to the zombie audio eating the pizza, be like, oh yeah, I'm dead already.
That's my jam, yeah.
Yep.
It's more like, I think those are the, the Usain Bolt of zombies. So, yeah, I would be dead in a minute. I would be like, no, that's it. I give up. It's okay. I accept my fate.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I can start reading my next one if you'd like.
Yes, please do. Okay.
This one is called I Investigate Disturbing Cases. Here are my stories. Voices from nature. There are a few careers with the same considerations as police work. Not only are we in a position to make life-changing choices, but we also have to live with the consequences of those choices forever. Many people struggle to handle that. Time and time again, we see what happens when people who are clearly unprepared are forced to navigate intense situations. It ends in tragedy. You must come to grips with the fact that you'll make decisions that'll stick with you forever, and that those decisions add up, sometimes quickly as the years go on, and you determine when enough's enough. But it's not just the choices you make for others that matter. The ones you make for yourself can be just as impactful. Detective Joss and I were sitting across from the chief in his office. The two of us being together had become commonplace over the past few months. In retrospect, despite being his most trusted officers, it was probably still bizarre for him to see us getting along. After the events involved the hammerhead creatures, Joss and I really got to know each other on a human level. From there, our connection took off. Looking back, it's interesting how trauma brings people together. So, the chief began. You two are going to be gone for the week, correct? Yep, Joss replied. Up north at the cabin, just like we talked about. He eyed us for a moment, chewing on his toothpick. While leaning back in his chair, he turned to me. Smith, do you know of the family that went missing up in the woods your cabin is located in? Typical nuclear family, taking the grandparents out for a camping weekend. This question caught me off guard. No. I don't believe I've heard of that specifically, but I'm sure a lot of people go missing in the woods every year, don't they? He nodded. They do. This specific family is intriguing though. See, they knew the woods. Father is a former ranger, mother is a wildlife biologist, grandparents had backgrounds in botany. Hell, even the kids were involved in the scouts. If anyone would have survived a camping trip gone awry, it would have been them. At any rate, the number of people who've been disappearing up there has been more than alarming.
Because it's cabin in the woods.
Joss, he asked. Josh,
oh my lord.
You know Sheriff Cadigan Corrigan, right? Yes, sir, she replied. One of the best sheriffs I've seen around. Indeed he is, the chief said. As luck would have it, he has jurisdiction over where your cabin is located. I thought it might help him out if you did a little digging while you two were up there. Not a full-blown investigation, of course. Maybe ask questions where you can and report back any abnormal findings. I tried my best not to show it, but I was getting incredibly frustrated with the chief. Here we were, about to go on vacation to get away from the insanity of police work and monsters, and yet he wanted us to use our free time for more investigation.
Overtime.
Wait, I interjected. With all due respect, if it's Sheriff Cartagina's jurisdiction, then it's his business, isn't it? Not only do we have no authority in the area, but it's literally not our job to solve their issues. His own people should be looking into this. If it's a massive concern, why not just close off the forest? I couldn't tell if the look on the chief's face was one of annoyance or respect regarding my challenge. He took out his toothpick and made a motion as if he were blowing out non-existent smoke. It's impossible to seal off hundreds of square miles of land. People will find their way into the woods regardless. I understand where you're coming from, Smith, but trust me, Sheriff has handled this disappearances as best as possible. His people are still doing regular patrols and exhausting every lead. I know it's not your job, but you aren't required to do this, but he figured some eyes and ears from outside might help. I'd appreciate the cooperation. I would have told him that we'd rather enjoy the break, but Joss got out in front of me and promised that we'd ask a couple questions to the locals and keep an eye out. After leaving the office, I informed her that I wasn't too pleased with how that went down. Joss apologized and said that we'd keep the police work to a minimum. As much as she wanted to please the chief, she also wanted to enjoy the time we had. She made the promise that this minor inconvenience Wouldn't get in the way of that. Reluctantly, I decided to go play along. A week passed and we were finally on our way. The car ride up north might have been one of the best parts of the trip. My worries about how our vacation would turn into work melted away while we were deep in conversation, laughter, and rapping along to Odyssey and Tupac. After about 4 or 5 hours of driving, she pulled into a diner in some small town. As soon as we walked in, it was evident that we stuck out. Every pair of eyes in the restaurant was turned to us. I tried to give a friendly wave to a family sitting across from us, but they simply gave me a nasty look and turned back to their food. Slightly
Rude.
offended, figured it was best to ultimately try and ignore it.
What the fuck, rude?
Luckily, we didn't get hassled much as we ate. We paid, and we walked out. That is until we caught a man in an apron admiring our car. "Hey," I yelled from across the parking lot. "Something interesting about that to you?" The man turned around and gave a warm smile. His apron had the name of the diner on the front, and his name tag read, Ariel Atias, head chef. "Oh, hey guys," he said kindly while walking over to us. He extended his hand and I cautiously took it. "A little casual for someone casing our car," Joss said, crossing her arms. He looked at the car momentarily before looking back at us, waving it off. "I swear, it's nothing. Just a really nice ride. We don't see too many cars that look like that out here, so while on break, I just wanted to take a closer look. In fact, neither of you look like you're from around here. I take it you're visiting." "Uh-huh," I replied. "Look, if this is employed to slash our tires and take us off to some
Wow,
brosca
presumptuous.
in the middle of the mountains where you have a bunch of other people tied up, I just want to let you know we carry guns."
Wow, whoa.
Laughed at my scenario. I'm not sure what a brosca is, but you have quite the imagination. Honestly, being from up north, I'm not really for violence. I try to bring that Canadian friendliness to my restaurant here. "And your patrons?" Joss asked. "They don't seem too friendly." The chef shrugged. "It's not that they're not friendly. We've been having a lot of issues as of late. People used to say how much they loved our food, and talking to the townspeople, they'd always come back on their way out of town. Hasn't happened a single time this year. I think now when new people come in, there's just a bit of morbid curiosity, I guess you could say." "I've heard those disappearances," I replied. "You know anything about them?" He shook his head. "Sorry. Honestly wish I did. Everyone in town is genuinely afraid to even step foot in the woods. We've come up with this saying, the trees watch you. So take that as you will."
It's watching.
Laughed
It's
nervously.
trees.
"Anyways, I'm rambling.
It's
Just
the
hope you guys
trees.
stay safe out there." With that, he walked back inside the diner. As ominous as the potting message was, it provided a little insight. Still, when I looked over at Joss, I could see she was lost in thought.
It's the trees.
Much in the same way I was whenever I got a new case. I asked if she was okay and she insisted she was fine, not wanting to dwell too much on the encounter. We made our move to leave. As soon as we got into the car, a text message popped up on my phone. One from the chief, and it read, "Talked to the sheriff today. The family of a backpacker reported she never returned home. The kid was only 18. We need to figure this out." Blood groaned
Get your
escaped me.
hexes.
Of course I wanted to help, but it felt as though the very atmosphere was shifting with every mile we drove, placing us deeper and deeper into a situation we didn't go there to deal with. What was supposed to be a fun getaway was quickly becoming something much more sinister.
It's a cabin in the woods. It's not a.
Frustrated with how things were going,
It's not
I
a fun
didn't
getaway.
say much as we drove along. Picking up on my changing mood, Joss made a hard right at the next intersection out of nowhere. According to my directions, we weren't heading the right way. When I tried to bring this up, she shushed me and commented that she didn't want to ruin the surprise. 30 minutes later, we pulled up to a medium-sized house at the edge of the woods, and Josh was telling me to get out. The unkempt plants growing in around the structure exacerbated an already rustic look. Confused, I asked what exactly we were doing there as I stepped outside. She met me on my side on the on my side of the car and with a giant smile on her face said, "We're gonna get drunk and hear some fun stories."
Yes.
"Yeah," I asked. "Am I missing something? Aren't we supposed to go to the cabin?" Just laughed and walked up to the door and knocked. Trust me, this guy is a close family friend. I visited him every time I come up here since I was a kid. Still puzzled, I looked at her with a raised eyebrow and crossed arms. I mean, I'm up for it, but it seems a little out of the blue, doesn't it? Before answering my question, she knocked again at the door. Sure, but Mr. Oak is a really fun guy. He tells fantastic stories, and since he's a former bartender, he makes the best drinks. I thought we could stay here, make a few drinks, have some fun, maybe get back on the road tomorrow since we've been driving all day. That's if he opens up this century, I quit. Brief look of concern crossed her face.
Get drunk with the trees.
Again, the door clicked open before her knuckles could even touch the wood. But the person on the other side certainly wasn't the older man Joss had described. The woman looking back at us seemed to be in her mid-20s. Her hair was pulled back in a ponytail, and she had the eyes of someone that hadn't slept in a while. Immediately, Joss went into cop mode and reached for a gun that wasn't there before hitting the woman with a barrage of questions, most notably, who are you? And why are you in Mr. Oak's home? Completely unfazed by the confrontation, the young woman yawned and nonchalantly replied, I'm Amelia. Granddad hasn't been here since the beginning of the year. I'm just keeping an eye on the place. Realizing she was merely a relative, Joss allowed her body to relax, but something in her tone insinuated that she still didn't trust the supposed granddaughter. Oh, she said, bringing her hands to her lips. Sorry to scare you. I'm a family friend. I wasn't aware Mr. Oak had gone. You said since the beginning of the year. Do you know when exactly he left? Amelia thought for a moment and gave a half-hearted, February? Question. Couldn't have been much later than that. He left a note saying he was gonna do a lot of traveling. Joss considered this for a moment and motioned for me to come towards them. Interesting. Do you know where your grandfather is now? She shook her head. Nope. Hasn't returned since he left. I'm sure he's fine, just like everyone else. That statement caught my attention. Wait, just like everyone else? Who exactly is everyone else? Her entire demeanor shifted after my question. Her eyes immediately darted to the woods behind us. A nervous smile grew on her face, and the inflection in her voice signified mild discomfort. Oh, I meant like in general, Granddad is a tough guy. He told me he was doing well a couple days ago.
Lies. Lies.
I know, right? I call the lies.
Like, you're sitting on a throne of lies. No.
Yes, all the lies.
All the lies. It's the trees. She's a co-conspirator with the trees.
Oh yeah, co-conspirator. Needs to go in jail.
Someone in my chat said it's the trees from Mortal Kombat.
Oh god. Oh god.
It's like, it's time to start California wildfire.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, these trees definitely don't live in California.
Oh my god. Okay, go on.
Okay. I wanted to press further, but Josh stopped me before I could ask any more questions and interjected with, my mistake then. Sorry to bother you. We'll be on our way. Without another word, we left. The hastiness of the exit had me in shock. Here, we had a direct connection to the disappearances, one that maybe could have led us to some exciting information, and yet the hard-ass of all hard-asses wanted to just drop it. The ride from Oak home in the cabin was roughly another couple of hours, and half the time I tried to get a reason as to why she didn't press it, but she wouldn't budge. When we arrived, I meant to push the point more, but my immediate attention was stolen by the beauty of nature surrounding us. The lush green forests, rolling hills, and endless wilderness were breathtaking. The cabin itself had a very modern look to it. It was large enough to house a family, but cozy enough to not be overwhelmed by the space. A small lake sat next to it, and a fire pit was a brief walk away. This is beautiful, I stated, all to ourselves. Just nodded. Yep, just naked, nature, and
Just,
whatever horrible monstrosities are taking visitors.
I'm sorry, you said just naked. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I
Just
didn't.
naked.
A little slip there. A little slip.
But what a great slip I have to say. That was great. That was great. I love that slip up. Butt naked in the woods. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's just part of nature, you know?
It's
Nothing
fine.
abnormal.
It's fine. I'm loving this slip up. Okay.
Um, we don't know that there are any monstrosities. The fact that this forest is enormous, pretty easy for people to get lost. I also wouldn't rule out the possibility of some rogue predator that realized it's easier to hunt people than deer. She shrugged and went to sit on the bed. I hope you're right. Just seems like a lot of strange occurrences have happened since we got here. In the years I've been doing this, that usually means something. Well, isn't that why you told the chief you'd look into it? The shift in her disposition indicated that my question was taken in a way that I didn't intend. Don't do that, she snapped. All I wanted is for us to be out here together. Appeasing the chief just seemed like the quickest way for that to happen. Plus, at the end of the day, I still feel at least slight obligation to do my job. I threw my hands up and explained that I in no way meant to offend. It just seemed as though she really wanted to take on the challenge of figuring things out, and that was a trait I admired. Joss took a second to exhale and apologized for being so quick to anger. She explained how stressful it was to balance her allegiance to her work and her genuine desire to make progress with me in our personal life. It's a feeling I could relate to. I assured her that how she was going about it was fine. I wanted to spend time with her too, and we agreed to handle things as they come. Of course, we do our best to enjoy the beautiful environment, but if something strange came our way, then we'd be ready for that. We spent the rest of the day exploring the woods around us, telling stories over a campfire, and then retiring for the night. Laying together in bed, we made plans to explore and hike up to a spot that overlooks miles of forest. Ideally, we'd stay up there, come back, make some food, do some target practice with the guns she had there, and then wind down by the lake. Everything seemed set up for a fantastic day, and the following morning, it was all trending in that direction. We made breakfast, packed our supplies, and headed out. The trail was admittedly a little rougher than I anticipated. Josh, who was an avid runner and general health nut, was even kind enough to go closer to half speed to let me catch up. Once we made it to the top, I couldn't believe my eyes. The view was unlike anything I was used to seeing. A mighty army of vibrant green trees extended infinitely into the horizon. The massive hills staring back at us held the promise of undiscovered ecosystems waiting to be explored. The nearby lake gleamed as the rays of the sun made the surface appear as though thousands of crystals were occupying it. It was absolute paradise. And to top it all off was being there with Joss. The look in her eyes showed a deep appreciation for what we had the privilege to observe. For so long, it felt like much of the time was dedicated to seeing either the worst of humanity or the worst of the paranormal. With each passing case, I could feel my stress heightened and my sanity slipping. But for the first time in a long time, the world felt right. It felt peaceful.
Until it wasn't.
After an hour or so, hunger eventually pushed us to make our way back to the cabin. I couldn't pinpoint what or why, but something told me that that peaceful moment would be our last on this trip. I didn't want to freak out Joss, so I kept quiet out of the hope that I was simply paranoid. But as we rounded the final turn of the trail that put the cabin in view, my fears were confirmed. A woman was sitting on the porch in the fetal position. Instinctively, I pulled out my pocket watch and Joss mirrored the action. Creeping up slowly towards the person, I shouted, "Hey! This is private property. You need to identify yourself. The woman on the porch looked up at us, and I immediately recognized her. Amelia? Josh shouted in disbelief. Oh my god, what on earth are you doing here? How are you here? Before I could stop her, she had already rushed over to the young girl and began helping her inside. Don't get me wrong, I understand why Josh was so gung-ho to help the granddaughter of a childhood friend, but this was clearly off. By the time I caught up, Amelia was wrapped in a blanket on the couch and crying her eyes out. We tried to get her to explain what happened and how she ended up at the cabin, but she wasn't making any sense. She was on some tangent about being led there before having a full-blown panic attack. She needed to calm down. Joss and I decided it would be best for us to walk down to the lake and give her some space. Once we were out of earshot, I looked at Joss dead in the eyes and said, "Tell me you don't think that this is odd." She took offense to my statement. Of course I think it's odd. You think that I think this is normal? No, it's just, I don't know that we should have been so quick to take her in. You and I have seen enough to understand that this is right on the edge of nope land. Trey, I get it. I don't even understand how she could have possibly made it out here. Forget not knowing how to get out here, but I didn't see another car. Walking the road to get here is a rough day for anybody, but Mr. Oak is like family to me. If there's a chance his daughter's in trouble, I need to be there for her, even if it's under weird circumstances. No part of me liked the answer, and frankly, if it were up to me, I don't know that I would have let her stay around. But at the end of the day, it wasn't my call to make. This was her cabin, and I needed to respect and trust Joss. Without any argument, I simply replied, "Okay." Soon after, we made our way back inside and found Amelia had calmed down a bit.
Time to get the guns.
If she would be comfortable speaking about what happened. She gave a reluctant nod and wiped away the remaining tears. She attempted to look Joss in the eyes before speaking, but ultimately turned her gaze downward and began crying again and shouted, "I'm so sorry, I lied, oh my god."
I know it!
Confused, Joss bent down and put a hand on the young girl. "You lied? About what?"
I knew it!
What do you mean?
I know it, lies!
We've caught her!
Stop!
We've caught her in a lie!
Caught her! Oh god. Okay.
Ugh. Granddad, he never went on a trip. He's gone. What? Goss half shouted while popping up. Where and when did he go missing? Earlier in the year, he went to the woods and never came back. Did he report this to police? I interjected. Of course we did, immediately shot back. But they'll never find him. They could search every inch of that forest and it won't matter. My brain immediately flipped into being a detective, and my questioning became a little bit more intense. How could you know for a fact that they'll never find him? For the slightest moment, she gave me an odd look. The contortion of her brows seemed to signal disbelief, as if she expected me to know the answer to her question. Because they don't know what to look for. It's not, she sighed. He's different now. Amelia, Joss began. What do you mean by different? And do you know if your grandfather is okay? Tears began to well up in her eyes again, but oddly enough, there was a smile too. I know for a fact that Granddad is fantastic. He's living well and better than ever. Joss and I shared a look of confusion at this statement. Literally, none of this fit.
Yeah, makes no sense.
In our brief moment of interaction, Joss must have been able to read my mind because she asked a question that was also at the forefront of my brain. Amelia, how did you know to find us here? A moment of silence.
The trees!
Amelia seemed to be contemplating how to tell us. Still, without her saying a word, I knew the answer would be an incredibly uncomfortable one. When she finally found the words, she simply turned to look out the window and stated, "Granddad told me." She gave us a quick glance before looking back out the window and continuing. I can hear his voice from all around. He said a lot of things, and they scare me. You both needed to know. I
The
didn't know what
trees.
to make of what she was saying. As much as I wanted to dismiss that she
Yep.
was getting
Time to
mental
burn the forest.
messages from her potentially dead grandfather, it seemed too much to rule anything out. On the flip side, it also wouldn't be the first time someone had, in reality, done something awful and then played it off with talks of voices in their head. But at the end of the day, I needed to approach this situation rationally. I couldn't believe it was a supernatural until I saw the supernatural. I suggested that she'd let us drive her into town. Ideally, we could get her checked into a hospital and maybe she could give the local police any information garnered from the voice of her grandfather. Josh shut down the idea and instead insisted that Amelia stay. She was adamant about monitoring her, at least for the night. Josh later confessed that getting rid of Amelia without calming her down under supervision would be like abandoning her, and she wouldn't do that to the family of a close friend. It was a rationale I didn't necessarily agree with, but one that I respected. We went about setting up the guest room for Amelia and spent the rest of the day fishing and taking shift watching over her. But most of the day, Amelia sat silently in her room. She'd be on a bed and stare out the window, seemingly deep in thought. I tried to talk with her, but the most I could ever get was a brief glance in my direction. Eventually, time came for me to go to bed. I walked to the kitchen to brush my teeth and caught Amelia sitting at the table drinking some tea. By this point, I didn't expect any sort of acknowledgement of my presence, but to my surprise, she gave a very warm "Hey Dre." Little caught off guard. I greeted her back, but ultimately thought nothing of it. That is, until she got up and started to walk out. Just before reaching her room, she stopped, turned around, and stared at me. An unnervingly wide smile plastered on her face. "You've seen some terrible things, haven't you? Tragic." And with that, she simply went into her room. I sat in silence for some time, just thinking, was Amelia referring to the paranormal? The murders I've investigated in my career? Something more personal? I hadn't known this girl for more than 48 hours. How could she be aware of anything? Either way, her statement rattled me. When I finally went to bed, Jost asked me what took me so long, and I couldn't bring myself to tell her. Maybe that was a poor choice. I don't know. At a certain point, you just want to be done with all the weirdness and move on. I told Jost that I had just been thinking, and when she pressed me for details, I promised I'd tell her in the morning. Luckily, she accepted my answer. Joss drifted off fast in my arms, but despite her being right there with me, I felt alone. Amelia's words, unearthing a river of memories that I floated down, reflections of my life, my mistakes, and the choices I've yet to make, lulled me into a largely dreamless sleep. A ritual that I had grown accustomed to. Oddly enough, the only mental image I can recall was that of the Watcher saying we'd all be safer with them. I don't know how much I slept, but it was clearly very early in the morning when I woke up. The sun had just begun to rise, and Amelia had the blanket pulled over her face on the other side of the bed. I sat up with my eyes open for a moment, then the realization hit me that I wasn't going to be able to fall back asleep. With a quiet groan, I pulled myself out of bed, put on some clothes, and walked over to the kitchen to grab some water and brush my teeth. When I arrived, the first thing I noticed was 9mm ammo had been left on the table. Confused, I walked over to Amelia's room and found that she had left. Her space was clean, and nothing indicated that she had left in a hurry, and at first I figured that she had likely gone to the woods to shoot. Perhaps Joss told her where to find the gun while watching over her. When I went outside trying to find Amelia, I immediately noticed more bullets had been dropped, and they led to a nearby trail.
It's the
As I walked to
trees.
the trailhead, I heard a gunshot come from that same direction. I figured I'd follow the trail and hopefully meet up with her at some point, but not too long after I started walking, I heard an eerily familiar voice call out to me from the deep in the forest. A voice so familiar, in fact, that it froze me in place. I dared not move from my spot in hopes that it would call out again. Tears began to make their way down my face. I knew that it was probably some fucked up trick being played on me, but I didn't care. The moment I recognized that it was my son's voice calling out to me, my baby boy calling for his father, I sprinted off towards it. I'd seen so much in my time investigating the paranormal that I suppose a small piece of me hoped that somehow, some way, something had brought him back. Even if there was a 1% chance, I had to take it.
Nope, it's a demon.
And ran, my boy guiding me towards his location. I called out to him. I needed to know that his father was finally going to be there for him. I had no idea where I was headed.
It's a demon.
Care. I just kept going until I physically couldn't any longer.
It's a demon, I tell you!
My efforts had brought me no closer to him. Instead, I found myself in a grave situation. I'd blindly run off trail into the woods, and I was surrounded by nothing but trees. How could I be so stupid, I thought to myself. The voice had seemed so real, but the only thing it had led me was getting lost. It was the first time I had to consider whether or not I was indeed going mad. That consideration grew stronger when I saw what appeared to be a face embedded into the wood of a tree just to my right.
It's a tree!
Whoever it was seemed to be in anguish, the face seemingly twisted by unbearable pain. One would assume that this was a case of face pareidolia, however you say that word, the phenomenon where humans interpret random patterns as faces.
Big words.
How to say it.
Big words.
Know, big
it's
words.
okay.
Big words. Okay.
I'm just.
There's a limit here.
I'm sorry. I'm like, because I'm listening to the scene and I'm like shouting at my chat, just being like, "It's a demon tree."
Maybe.
Just dawned. Demon.
Maybe.
Okay. Go on.
But if it was just a dark, random pattern, it was a convincing one. It was as if the bark itself had instantly grown around this person, capturing a snapshot of their suffering. When I walked over to inspect the tree, it was the same scene. Another person experiencing great pain frozen in the wood. A third tree mirrored that. Then a fourth. Soon I realized I was surrounded by an army of petrified faces. Before I could even process what could have possibly caused this messed up exhibition, my son's voice broke through the confusion. It didn't take long to find the source. A tree that appeared younger and thinner than the rest, slightly further out from all the others. And at its base was a face of a young boy. It looked like he had been crying.
Oh no!
I went to wipe the frozen tears from his face and kiss his forehead. A small smile crept across my face, and I hugged the tree. It had been far too long since I had seen my son's face. "Don't cry, Dad. You're finally here," he said to me. I suppose I didn't notice my tears and quickly wiped them away as I tried to ask how he had ended up here. "It was dark," he explained. "After that day, it was really dark. But one day, I felt light, growth, and pain, and then just light again. I wanted to talk more, ask how I could help, what I could do. Before I got the chance, something else came through. 'My love, it's been so long,' she said in a beautifully sweet voice. 'Lolia,' I shouted back. 'How are you both?' 'Alive,' she said softly with a laugh. 'It wasn't any thanks to you, you cowardly bastard.'
'What?'
'What?' I asked in disbelief. 'No, this can't be.' 'Oh, but it is.' Her tone became much darker. 'You left your wife and son to die, love. I told you I wanted you to find new work. I told you putting people in prison would make enemies. I told you, and now.' She was leading me to finish her sentence, but I couldn't. No, I mumbled underneath my breath. 'There's no way,' I stood up shouting. 'You're not them. You're some kind of apparition, a fucking lie.' A
Demons.
new voice emerged from the trees, one I didn't recognize. This voice deep and monotone. Lie. No, Smith. We are truth. We are life. The curtain had finally dropped. Something sinister had to be imitating my family. I was furious. What kind of lie could you possibly be? Look around, all I see is a sick imitation of death. It laughed an unimpressed laugh. We grow. Our cells divide. We turn sunlight into energy, and you call that death.
Possessed trees.
We've brought back life from the husk of the dead. Our roots in mycelial networks are far-reaching from here to your home and far beyond. We connect everything. We absorb everything. We see everything. Its voice quickly shifted to that of a young girl. Remember me, Detective Smith? Who are you? Figures. I'm the little girl you let die because you were too overconfident to call backup. Or stay to fight even if it cost you your life. Wanted all that glory for yourself but couldn't handle the fire when it got too hot, huh? Coward. Faye Mizuki had come back from the grave. The greatest failure of my career was literally staring back at me, and I was speechless. The voice switched up again. This time, the entity's choice shocked me, and I blurted out her name as soon as she introduced herself. Amelia? That's right. You know there's a better path, Smith. One where you can make up for all the terrible things you've seen and done. Granddad had been speaking to me about joining this and becoming something more extraordinary. It was scary at first.
Oh shit!
Thinking about leaving behind my old life, but we're so much happier now. That's how we found you, you know. He was here the whole time, all around. I staggered back from the horrible scene. Amalia, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Why be sorry? This is life. We'll outlast everyone else for centuries and then grow anew. I can tell you're scared. Though, don't worry. The others that came through were scared too. But I can promise you, they're so much happier now. Wait, others that came through here? You don't mean the missing people, do you? Jesus, that's where they've gone. You lured them in and then showed them happiness. The monotone voice finished. No one could possibly know a better paradise. That's why they're all suffering like hell, huh? I spat back. My god, look at their faces!
Jesus.
There was no waver in its voice. Growth is pain. And it said this. I felt something slice at my leg. Happiness requires growth. Therefore, you must experience pain to be happy. As much as I wanted to trade jabs with this thing, I could feel my legs starting to go numb and my eyes growing heavy. My following few words were a jumbled mess, but I was conscious enough to understand my danger level. I attempted to turn in the other direction, but my foot was caught in a stray root and I crashed onto the forest floor. The trees seemed more extensive now. The roots moved quickly towards me, the wooden tentacles wrapping around my leg. I shouted for them, "Get away! Get away!" But to no avail. Multiple voices coming from all directions surrounded me. Many I didn't recognize. You'll be happier here. We survive better together, said one. Why fight to be apart? This is your fate anyways, another chimed in. The pressure building around my leg was growing. With all my might, I couldn't detach from the organism. The last thing I saw before my vision went dark was some more tendrils and roots as they sprung up around me. My final thought was the slight comfort in knowing that, at the very least, I'd be with my family again. Silence followed. No thoughts, no feeling. It's as if I were disconnected from the world, and at that moment, nothing. I felt as though I could finally let go. Suddenly, light flooded back into the world. A dry heave followed, and so did waves of pain. Joss was looking down at me. We were still outside, but in a different spot than we had been in before. Before I could say anything, she pulled me into a tight hug. Beside her laid an axe covered in plant matter. I could only manage to eke out a weak, what happened? Supposedly, Joss noticed Amelia and me missing after she woke up. The ammo left on the table gave her reason for concern, especially given previous reports of missing people. So she grabbed an axe and set out to find us. The extra bullets left at the head of the northern trail tipped her off into our direction. As she searched, she also heard a voice that guided her to where she needed to be, that of her father. The difference between us being, Joss wasn't as entranced by the call. When she finally found me, nearly my entire body was wrapped in the green and white tendrils.
Damn.
They squirmed and grew as they entered my body through various cuts.
Ew!
Apparently, it took her at least a half an hour to completely cut me out. The thing I couldn't understand is how she was able to ignore the entity. Surely it wouldn't just let her take me, and as expected, it didn't. The dead voices of her past whispered sweet nothings of eternal life, happiness, and infinite growth. Even Amalia had taken a shot at convincing Joss to move on to the next life, as she had done in the end of a bullet. For every tendril and root she cut, it tried reconnecting with her, and she had to keep a constant offense to keep from joining the literal legion of dead. When I was finally free enough, she dragged me just far enough to get away from whatever the hell that entity was.
Burn it!
I didn't know what to say. What could I say? After hearing her story, I just sat contemplating what took place. For all the things I've seen and fought against, I'd been bruised, scarred, slammed, but never once had anything gotten into my head like that. Never once had something made me break down mentally. Just stayed with me the whole time as I gathered my thoughts until finally I said the magical words. Let's go home. Packing up was quick.
Should have been
We
said
rode back silently.
at the beginning.
When we finally arrived at my place, I didn't say anything as I got out of the car. A simple kiss on the forehead was our only means of communication, and it stayed that way for the rest of the week. I spent all my time at home just thinking. When I was finally due back at work, I wore my best suit, showed up exactly on time, and went straight to the chief's office to place my badge and gun on his desk with my official resignation letter. I'm done, I said to him.
Yeah, he's like,
He
I quit.
eyeballed the items for a moment, then he looked up at me and leaned back in his chair and gave me a matter-of-fact, about time. His blasé attitude infuriated me. I'd been to hell and back for him so many times over, and when it was over, that's all I got. It was goddamn insulting. Hell does that mean? I half shouted. No thanks, no trying to convince me to stay, just an apathetic comment. He leaned forward, calmly picked up my resignation letter and neatly placed it in his ink box, sitting on his desk. Smith, do you remember how many days off of work you took after your family's passing? No, I don't remember. What does that have to do with none? He interjected. Not a single day off. Sure, homicide was challenging, but damn it if you didn't try. Your work never suffered. You never complained. Smith, your ability to deal with adversity is so far beyond what most are capable of. I needed that. I needed you. To go through what you've gone through and still see things through to the end is remarkable. Hell, if 99% of people knew this was part of the job, they'd never join the force in the first place. His speech wasn't making me any happier. So you used my trauma to your advantage, and that's good. Not at all. Took a moment to open his drawer and pull out a cigar, placed it in his mouth, and lit it in one smooth moment. I know I'm not supposed to be smoking here, but what the hell? Look, I'm not a heartless bastard. The human side of me doesn't want anybody to deal with this shit, especially not someone that's seen so much. Part of me wished that you'd quit, but... He stopped to exhale, take another puff. At the same time, some things are necessary. Someone has to deal with this stuff. I want to do the right thing, Smith. You were the perfect guy to help me with that. It's so much bigger than my feelings or yours. Judge me however you want for that. It's going to be tough to replace you, but that part of me, the human element of me, is so happy to see you go. So yes, it's about damn time. His words impacted me more than I thought they would. I stood there not knowing what to say. Ultimately, I opted for silence.
Damn.
I needed time to process this, all of this. I gave him a simple nod of understanding, and now I walked out and never returned. In the following months and years, I did my best to return to a normal life. As I'm sitting writing this, Joss, or Evelyn, I should say, is talking a few of our friends about our upcoming baby shower. Officer Ryan is most excited about it. He insistent that our kids will be best friends. Writing these stories has given me so much perspective on these events. Retelling them and reading the feedback has meant so much. And I thank you all for that. I'm at a place where I've realized the truth is the most significant contribution I can give to people, and it feels good to be able to share that. As for the monsters, none have made any surprise appearances. Unsurprisingly, life has been much better without them. Granted, Evelyn came home from work the other day talking about how some birthday party ended up with multiple people dead. Supposedly, a neighbor mentioned something about a clown but didn't want to speak further on it. When she told
Demon
me,
clown.
I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and that old urge to come back. Part of me feels it couldn't hurt to do some research, talk to some people, just to make sure everyone is doing okay. But another part of me says to enjoy the quiet life. It's an eternal debate I've had so many times. Office work doesn't quite satisfy that itch. But maybe it doesn't need to. Perhaps I can finally be satisfied, just being happy. Guess we'll have to see what the future holds. I'm really excited about it. And as always, stay safe, everyone.
And bring fire to the demon forest.
No!
My chat was like, why is no one using the fire?
I know, that is the one thing I didn't like about the story, is I wanted them to burn it all down.
It's like, burn it to a crisp. Burst into flames, that's it. That's the first step. Oh my god. Wow, that was that was a good story. It's a long one, but like it kept you on the edge. It was like, well, okay, what's gonna happen? Like, who is sus? Who is like what is at the source of the whatever is happening, right? Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, but like
it was a little bit long. I was a little bit worried about that. So hopefully my droning voice was.
No, my chat is actually saying like, oh, this is a long story, but his voice is very nice to listen to. So.
Oh, that's very lovely of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of people are saying like, oh, we love your voice. Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And people are loving your accent too. I mean, I love it too. Oh my god. It's great.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it's been a lot of fun so far. I've really enjoyed myself.
Seriously. Also, this story, I'm like, why? Where's the demon trees? First step, fire.
No.
Burn it.
I felt like the stories I picked were very kind of like opposite. One was a lot more like creepy and sinister, but the other was like hot creepy. Like it hit you at like, oh my god, it's going after your family type.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Also, because this one was like, oh, the trees were, I don't know if they were kind of like, oh, sort of like tree skinwalkers and they were just imitating his family. Yeah. It wasn't his family, right? Like it was just.
No, I think it was just imitating.
Yeah,
I think they just knew because they had like a network of plant. It was like almost like a new creature that was. See, that's the thing that scares me. That could be real. Yeah. Right? Like it's just a fucking evolved trees who are tired of being cut down, being like, okay.
One day we will have to like fight off trees.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's fucking scary because you believe this shit, right? Like you believe this, like when if I would see, I don't know, someone from my family that passed and I would see them in this tree, and I could hear them, I would like, oh shit, yeah, this is real. Like how can I not believe this? Like they are stuck in there.
Know, right?
Yeah, so it plays on your emotions, right? Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. Because that's the only way it works is if you can attach to the emotional connection, right? Like, so it has to hit you in that emotional way.
Yeah. So. Also, the trees were trying to eat him. It's just like, just snacko.
Yeah.
Let me just show them which story was. Oh, this one. Okay, so this was the story I investigate. Disturbing cases here. Are my stories, and it was a voice from nature, and it was written by Brian. What?
You want me to link these stories to you in chat? I can link them to you.
Oh no, I have it in the description.
Oh, okay.
I have it, and the story was written by Brian A. Young. Like I have it on my screen. Like I even I include the names, the titles, and authors on the screen.
Nice.
Okay, now time for the last story. And this story is also from subreddit No Sleep, and it's titled, "I went to my sister's house to see her newborn baby, but by the time I got there, he was 5 years old." So let's begin. That morning, when I woke up, I didn't realize it, but I had everything: a good job, nice house, and a beautiful wife. But I fucked it up. If I had just swallowed my pride and apologized, Amy and I would have left home together that day, and none of this might have happened. Or at least we would still be together, and I wouldn't be alone. But no, I believed it was only a little tiff, and if I gave her a bit of time to cool off, she would have forgotten about it. I only took it off for a second. "It's not like I lost it on purpose, so why are you acting like this?" were the last words I said to her as she walked out that door. Stupid, petty words. I knew I was wrong, so why didn't I just tell her that? If I could go back to that moment now, I would tell her 1,000 different ways how sorry I was and beg her for forgiveness. I went over everything that happened 1,000,000 times in my head, hoping for some clue to how this could have gone wrong, but I couldn't find anything unusual about that day. Even our little arguments were nothing special. We were having more arguments, but they were never that bad. I would always walk away before things got too heated, so I'd never lose my temper. She hated that. She always wanted me to talk things through. That day was no different. I came home early from work so we could visit my sister, Liz. She had just come out of the hospital with her newborn baby, Toby. Amy was so excited to see him. She loved children and she often talked about having kids of her own someday, but I kept putting her off. I thought we had plenty of time and wanted to enjoy my freedom a little bit longer. We got something to eat before we left. It was then that Amy pointed out that I wasn't wearing my wedding ring. I told her I lost it at work, but I guess she didn't believe me, and we fought. Well, she did. I just walked up the stairs. I thought she would leave me alone and let me calm down like she usually did, but she didn't. She followed me upstairs, shouting at me about how much of a liar I was. I tried so hard to stay calm, it wasn't easy. For a moment I lost it and shouted, "Just fuck off and leave me alone," before going into the bathroom and locking the door. When I came out of the shower, she was gone. I assumed she went on ahead to my sister Liz's. I had hoped seeing little Toby might have calmed her down by the time I got there. My sister's house was only a 10-minute walk from mine, so it couldn't have taken more than 30 minutes from when I got in the shower until I got there. And the sun wasn't meant to set for hours. Yet, it was nearly dusk out. By the time I got to Liz's house, I was completely over our argument and hoped Amy was too. I will never forget the look on my sister's face when she opened that door. Her jaw dropped, and I could see her eyes begin to tear up. I knew something was wrong straight away, but before I got a chance to say anything, she started screaming, crying. I tried asking her what was wrong, but she was hysterical and not making any sense. Fearing something had happened to the baby, I barged my way in and searched the whole house, but I couldn't find any trace of him. Not even his cot that I had built the day before. I was on my way upstairs to check his room when I saw a child sitting on the couch. "Hi," he said. "My name is Toby. Who are you?" I just laughed. I thought Liz was playing some sort of prank on me until I saw a photo on the wall of my sister and her husband standing outside their backyard. She was pushing a young boy on a swing. It wasn't that there was no swing in the backyard the day before that got me. or the fact that there was no place for it since my sister had only moved into the house recently and the garden was nothing more than a pile of rubble. No. It was what was in the background. My sister complained every day about how little sleep she had been getting since they started work on the new school behind her house. It would have taken at least 2 years to complete. But in the photo, it was entirely finished. And I could see kids in school uniforms playing football on the pitch beside it. I went back out to the front door, where Liz was still in tears, gave her a hug, and said, "What is going on, sis? Where's Amy?" She squeezed me so tight, I could barely breathe. Before she answered, "I can't believe you're here. It's been so long since I heard from you. I thought I would never see you again." "I don't know why you are saying these things, Liz. It's not funny anymore. I was here yesterday. Now please, just tell me where Amy is. I'm starting to get freaked out." Her expression changed and she took a step back. "What do you remember, Tom? When do you think this is? Stop fucking with me, Liz, and tell me where the hell Amy is right now," I yelled as I paced over and back in frustration, trying to make sense of everything that I was hearing. She grabbed my hand and took me into the sitting room and asked me to sit down. I knew it was going to be bad. No one asks you to do that unless there's something seriously wrong. So I took a deep breath and braced myself. "Tom," she said in a calm voice, "you have been gone for 5 years now. Amy moved on. She is living in the city with her new husband." Oh, hell no.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Like, oh, wow. Okay. It's like time, I don't know, time warp? Time loop? Not even time loop, just time warp of some sort. And just like,
warp.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay. I didn't know how she did it, but I was sure she was pulling some sort of horrible prank on me. So I stormed out and headed for home. I was certain Amy would be there waiting for me, and this awful experience would be over. But I was wrong. When I got to the gate, I saw a teenage boy washing a car in the front yard, while a woman was picking weeds from a flower bed in the center of the lawn that wasn't there before. It was possible that the photo I saw on the wall was photoshopped, and they could have easily hidden the baby and all his stuff, but there was no way they could have changed my home that much in such a short time. I barely recognized it. I was starting to doubt myself. Maybe I was missing for the last 5 years. It's the only way any of this would have made any sense. But how could that have happened? I was only talking to Amy an hour before that. I stood there, staring into remnants of the life I used to have for I don't know how long, still hoping, praying that it was just a horrible nightmare and I was about to wake up from it at any moment. The inevitable realization that Liz was telling the truth hit me, and my life as I knew it was now nothing more than a shattered dream that would haunt me for the rest of my days. Soon hit me, and my whole world came crashing down. It was more than a house I lost. It was part of me, part of us. Every scratch, every dent had a story to tell. Our story. Now, it's gone. Either painted over, replaced, or fixed. Any trace of me and Amy's life washed away. That should have been my wife and kids in the garden. I could hear a voice repeating, "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?" As a man walked up the driveway towards me. But it didn't register with me until we were face to face. I could see a mix of anger and fear in his eyes as he attempted to protect his home from the intruder, me. Until then, I didn't realize how psychotic I must have looked standing outside his home, watching his wife planting flowers while his son washed his car. With a demented look on my face. I had no choice but to walk away, or else he would have surely rung the police. I had intended to go back to my sister's, but once I started walking, I couldn't stop myself. Before I knew it, it was completely dark, and I was lost. But I still kept going. I just wanted to get as far away from that place as I could. It was only when I felt a blister pop on the bottom of my foot that I rested under an apple tree, and that's where I stayed until I heard the sound of a bird singing. Then I started making my way to Liz's. The journey back must have taken hours, but it felt like minutes. All that time I spent thinking, going over everything I had lost, from friendships to my job, even my home. The only thing that was really important to me was seeing Amy again. I knew she had built a new life for herself without me. But I didn't care. I just wanted her back. Besides, what had I got to lose? I know, I love how the blister made him realize that. Yeah. He was like, okay, that's it. That's it. The blister just gave me an epiphany.
It's just a blister, you know. It sets everything right. I'm just worried that he's gonna jump time again.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm just thinking that. I'm like, holy shit, he's gonna get there and everyone's gonna be old or something. I don't know.
Yep.
Damn. Okay. When I got to Liz's, I begged her to take me to see Amy. At first, she was apprehensive. She said Amy was happy with her new husband and she didn't want her to get hurt again. But I wouldn't give up, and she eventually agreed to take me to see her on one condition. After I had spoken with her, I would leave her alone forever. Liz asked her to meet up for coffee. She didn't tell her why. I wanted it to be a surprise. Oh, one heck of a surprise.
Oh, God.
I was like, no, don't do that. No. Don't do that. Just tell her, hey, your missing husband, ex-husband is back. So, like, do you want to see him? Yeah, don't make it a surprise, Jesus Christ. I wanted it to be a surprise. Shortly after that, we left. The whole journey, I didn't say one word. I spent my time planning out what to say to her. I knew it would have to be special, if I had any chance of winning her back. By the time we got there, I believed it would be easy. I would just speak from my heart. We had been through so much together, and I knew her better than anyone, so I was sure I would at least have a chance. As I was getting out of the car, I could see her sitting at the table near the window of the coffee shop across the road. But she wasn't alone. Her husband was with her. Oh no! Oh hell no!
God.
Oh no! That's terrible! Worse. Oh, that's fucking terrible! Okay. I was unsure what to do. I never even considered him being there. So I watched her for a while, as I tried to figure out what to do next. Abort the ship! Go! Just this. No.
Red button and get out!
Get out! They were sitting across from each other, holding hands. She looked so happy. I wasn't ready for that. I must have watched them for like 20 minutes. She laughed the whole time. I knew she really liked him. She was never like that with me. I was always too afraid of what people would think and found in public displays like that cringy. And found public displays like that cringy. And I thought she felt the same. Until now. Seeing her that happy made me realize it was over for us. I couldn't be the one that took that away from her. I was heartbroken. So, I got back into the car, and we headed home, leaving her to enjoy the rest of her life without me. Well, at least that's what I should have done, but I didn't. I couldn't. I'm just too selfish for that. Instead of walking away, I told my sister to call her outside and try to get her to the car. While she did that, I hid in the backseat. What?
Oh, no.
Why?
That's weird.
It's fucking weird. Why? Stop it. What?
Oh God.
Jesus, I would freak out. I would completely freak out and be like, oh my God, someone is in your car. Like, Jesus.
Oh God.
Ah, Lord.
How do you make it worse?
Yeah, like, I was like, literally like, oh, there's no, okay, it's bad, but you can't make it really worse. But then he did. Okay. The only word to describe Amy's face when I popped my head up from behind the backseat was shock. She didn't even react when I told Liz to get out so I could drive. She just looked at me in amazement. I thought if I took her to see some familiar spots, it might help refresh her memory. I spent the last 20 minutes of that drive explaining what had happened to me. But I had no idea if she even understood what I was saying, because she didn't say one word the whole time. She just stared at me, with her mouth open. When she finally snapped out of it, all she said was, "Please, take me back to my husband." But I wasn't ready to give up just yet. I needed to show her the home that she left behind. I thought she would like that, but when I said it, she started to get scared of me. I don't know why. Because you're a fucking psycho. You're oh my God. You just abducted. Yeah, you hid in the backseat and then you fucking abducted her. And you're just like, oh, I'm gonna show you the life you would have had. So you're telling going.
Consent is important.
Yeah, it's like she never said. Also, she just told you, take me back to my husband. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay. People learn, just, consent is the key. Consent is rule number 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What was it? Oh, she got scared of me. I don't know why, because you're a fucking idiot. I would never hurt her. I'm sorry for laughing, but I'm just like, I don't know why she's scared of me. I'm just acting like a creep, but like, come on, man. I just wanted her to remember what it used to be like for us, when we were happy. When I tried reminding her of some of our best moments together, it only made things worse. She started screaming and begged me to let her go. The last thing I remember was her trying to open the car door to escape, before waking up in a prison cell. Oh my God!
Oh God!
Yep, that'll do it. That will do it. Did she die? Oh my God.
Oh, maybe she went to get out of the car.
Well, it was probably like, it was, or something. Well, it was driving and she just died. Oh God. Okay. The last thing I remember was her trying to open the car door to escape, before waking up in a prison cell. When I asked the guard why I was in there, he smirked. Are you telling me you can't remember breaking out of prison to finish off your wife? Oh, holy shit!
Oh.
What? What you did to that poor girl was sick. But look on the bright side. You won't have to worry much longer. You're going to fry Sorry. Oh my God. You're going to fry real soon. Then he walked away laughing. I tried telling everyone and anyone that would listen to me my story, but no one believed me. Everyone thought I was a monster and said I deserved what was coming to me. I haven't got much longer left in this world, so this could be my last statement. I just hope if someone reads this, they understand that I didn't hurt anyone. Well, at least I don't remember doing so. And if I did, I am truly sorry. That's it! Wow.
Jesus Christ, so he has like a multiple personality shit going on.
I think so. Because it's like you blipped
out for like 5 years.
Yeah, like you blipped basically for 5 years, but like from what I can tell, like, oh, they were arguing a lot. Like there was there was this like disconnection on his side, and it's just like, yeah, you're totally blipped.
Maybe why this sister did everything is because she was scared.
Yeah.
She was scared that he was gonna hurt her.
Yeah, I think so. Oh my God. Okay. Also, acting like a creep. Like, and then you blipped into a prison cell. Why doesn't that surprise me?
Oh,
what
God.
So.
Quick.
Jesus. So this story was posted to subreddit No Sleep, and it was posted by because I lost it. Wait, where is it's on the screen? But yeah, this username. It's kind of Boo Boo 87 XX. But yeah, good job, Boo Boo. That's a good story. Yeah, so that's it. That's it for that's all the stories we had for you today. Halfling, thank you so much for joining me, by the way. It was great.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It was lovely.
Yeah, the stories were spooky. The stories were great. Some of them were like, the last one was like, what the fuck, man?
I thought it was just gonna end cringy, but then it ended like terrifying.
Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, he would. Okay, I thought maybe it would end kind of scary, like, oh, he blipped again and everyone is fucking old, or he blipped again and it's like, oh, there's no one in like on the earth anymore, like, oh, you know, everyone died or something, or like he blipped into apocalypse or something. But yeah, that was a horrible story. Also, don't be a, you know, just a lesson, don't be a creep ever. Like, consent. That's to all of my viewers. Just consent is the key. Don't be, you know, if you blip, maybe just seek help.
Don't blip into becoming like a serial killer.
Yeah. Don't hide in people's cars. Jesus.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah, again, thank you so much. And you guys, you can find Halfling's link to Halfling's channel in the description of this video. So please do check it out. He also streams on Twitch. So you can probably, like, you have it linked, because I can add it to my description, by the way. But yeah.
Fine. It's Halfling Richard. If you go to my YouTube, you'll be able to find it. It'll be pretty easy.
Oh yeah. So yeah, definitely just go to Halfling's YouTube, and yeah, that's it. Do you want to say anything?
Thank you so much. And anyone who stopped by my stream, make sure to check out FEARSONA. Does awesome content all the time, not just scary stories. Does a bunch of other things too. Very lovely human being. And thank you so much for inviting me. It was very nice. I had a lot of fun doing this.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I hope we can do it again soon.
Yeah. I loved you. You know, what could be fun too is we could also do like Ghostbuster stuff. We could do some like what's that game called?
Phasmophobia, was it?
Yeah. I'm actually not.
Jesus, I play it so much.
I've actually, funny enough, I have the game, and I think I've maybe played it one time.
Oh, you're in for a treat. Now it's like, I think it was like updated, and we can like do high school, like school kind of thing. So it's like, it's huge, or campsite or something. Yeah, like they did an update. So yeah, definitely, like I would be down.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. So, but thank you so much. It is getting quite late for me.
Okay.
So I'm actually probably going to be heading off to bed. But thank you so much for everything, and thank you for inviting me. And I hope you and your chat all have a lovely rest of your night.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and yeah, have a great rest of the night. So, bye. You guys say bye. To the chat is saying bye too. Okay, thanks again, and yeah, see you soon. Like we should do it again.
Yeah, just message me anytime.
Yep. Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, let me just switch to my chat room. So yeah, that was something. That was scary. Like some very spooky stories. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was super fun. Like I love this format. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I hope you guys enjoyed to listening to my guest. There's gonna be another Full Body Chill stream on Patreon tomorrow. And I will have 3 to 4 stories too. I will read some of the stories sent in by my viewers this time. So yeah, that's gonna be something interesting. And then there's gonna be another Full Body Chill stream on Sunday, and that will be another collab stream. So yeah, please do check it out. And if you want to, if you want to gain access to bonus streams, bonus true crime streams, some karaoke streams, because I've updated some tiers on Patreon. There's gonna be a monthly karaoke rehearsal stream on Patreon, as a kind of practice for me to just like practice true songs, practice for YouTube streams. Yeah, if you want to gain access to that, you can check out my Patreon. There's like a lot of tiers with a lot of perks. Definitely a lot of perks for any special offers or campaigns with merch that I'm gonna be organizing. So yeah, that's about it. Okay. This was a great stream. Holy shit. Thank you, Silverjack. Well, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. So that's it for today. Stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your hexes. Or maybe don't bury your hexes when you go to a haunted like forest with demon trees. and goddamn, bring fire, bring like a lighter or something. And that's yeah, that's that. So until the next time, bye.